Well, it's one of those deceptively sunny yet cold days up here on the north coast at Camp Perry. You can see in the background there's some old decommissioned relics of war in the Army. But one of the things about Camp Perry is its history, and part of that is this historical marker. Historical marker 1962, or 919-62. But this talks about back when this was a POW camp, and also prior to World War I. But you can read here. This is an open base, so you don't need to be military to access it. It's accessible to the public. This is where the civilian marksmanship program is. But just a quick walkthrough on some of the decommissioned military vehicles that serve, and armament that serve as memorials. This is an M1 Abrams. Get a picture of this. So this is the Abrams tank, still in service today. We use up-armored ones with reactive armor. 120mm main gun. Shoots a depleted uranium round. The armor is depleted uranium. But yes, this is the current service tank. And then working clockwise, that is an M4 Sherman over there. That one had several different variants. It was pretty much a universal machine. You could swap the chassis out and put different turrets on, different main guns. You put plows and shears on it, mine sweeping equipment. Yes, this was again the workhorse of World War II, mass produced. And I'll show you a picture of its outfitting. Yeah, you can see the chassis and suspension there. And again, continuing on the path. These are what are called the gratitude trains. It says merci. These were not on the railroad as depicted by the historical marker, to my knowledge. I want to say that these were what they used in France. Yeah, they were called the Ohio 48 boxcar. And during the Battle of Epernay, these would transport either 40 soldiers or 8 horses and equipment. And this big missile is a Nike Hercules missile, conventional and nuclear. And I am not really sure what kind of PC this is. I want to say it's a personnel carrier. M42 Duster. Got a driver, commander, gunners, pointers, loaders. Gasoline powered. Good thing they moved away from that. 45 miles an hour on the road. Manufactured in Cleveland, huh? Yeah, twin 40mm cannons there. Open turret. Should not climb on the tank. Kind of want to. It's not really a tank. Yeah. Part of the Cadillac Motor Car Division of General Motors Corporation. 1952. Definitely a relic. Now this here, we call them 113s, but back in the day it was a 106. Yeah, still in use today. I want to say one of the longest serving military vehicles. Hated by all. I can't think of one person I've ever heard that said that they liked them. Yeah, nowadays it's used as an admin vehicle. Spacious inside for your mechanized first sergeants. Keeps up with Bradley's. Ah, yes, the Iroquois. AH-1 Huey. Yep. Workhorse of the Vietnam era, used in Desert Storm as well. Yeah, Huey's well, a cargo helicopter and troop transport. They would also be outfitted with armament, gun pods, rockets, things of that nature. And then it evolved into this attack helicopter here, which is next up. That is the Cobra. So the Cobra attack helicopter is kind of a departure from the naming convention of Indian tribes for rotary winged aircraft. This is still in service in the Marine Corps. Yeah, the AH-1 Fox modernized Cobra have Hellfire missiles, Hydra rockets, 20mm chain gun. Quite sophisticated. I wonder if that's decommissioned or taken out, but those optics you can see for about what, 8 kilometers and engage targets out that far with the Hellfires. Yeah, single jet engine with power takeoff for the rotors. You can see these old helicopters used to have 2 very large surface area rotors. Nowadays, main rotors are 4, sometimes 5. Yeah, I used to hear this Cobra referred to as the gunfighter's helicopter. very narrow cockpit. As you can see, it's I don't even think it's a meter across. Yeah, you would have your pilot there, and then your weapons operator in the second seat. And finally, the Sheridan. Yes, the M551 Sheridan. Big old 5-inch gun there. There are actually people still in the military to this day who trained on the Sheridans during their basic training and tank training, and then they ended up eventually crewing the M1 Abrams. Yeah, leftover relic of the 60s. Small tank, especially by modern standards. And then over here, these are now training huts, as you can see, people will barracks up in those, sometimes 4 to a cabin. They'll stay in those during the national matches, and those are the ranges they shoot on. We'll head over there, get a better idea of it. But these are the modern replacements for what used to be the POW houses. And the POW houses were probably, if I recall correctly, because they were still here when I first started coming here, they were probably half the size of these huts. Yes, up here in this plaza is Civilian Marksmanship Program headquarters, and their sign says open, and it is Thursday. And you'll see these signs on the way in. It says restricted access, military training site, registered guest and authorized personnel only. I am not a registered guest. Donated by the Friends of Camp Perry. This is the Shooters Memorial Plaza, dedicated in 2009. And there's a historical marker here from 1995 for Camp Perry. Yes, this is Camp Perry, the premier shooting ranges for the national match and the Civilian Marksmanship Program. Large piece of history in Ohio, large piece of history in the nation when you think about it, because Ohio is, after all, the heart of it all. This ties into the Put-in-Bay video that I had a couple years ago, where Oliver Hazard Perry was led to an underground spring of clean water that helped his men overcome sickness and turn the tide of the war during the Battle of Lake Erie, of which this obelisk is, or what I should say is this pillar, is dedicated to, named in honor of Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry, United States Navy, victor in the Battle of Lake Erie. And the national matches, which are continued to be held here, used by federal government as concentration camp during World War. Well, it says 1917, 1918. We know it was during World War II, but also during those World War I era. And of course, if it wasn't for this man, Brigadier General Critchfield, probably wouldn't have Camp Perry, especially as we know it today.